If you could only give one piece of financial advice to your kids and they had to follow it, what would it be? I'll share my answer and more coming up. It's common to not talk about money at home. It's common to not talk about money when you're at home, and whether you've got young kids or teenagers like I do, or whether you've got, young adults, we don't talk about money. It's uncomfortable, and it's not a common discussion point. Unless you're me and my family, I complain about how much everything costs all the time. And my kids are so sick of it. So they're probably going to be tone deaf when it comes time for me to start actually giving them some financial advice. But here's a question. If you could only give one piece of financial advice to your kids and they would actually follow it, what would it be? Would it be to pay down debt? Would it be to, avoid credit cards? Would it be to have that emergency fund saved up, start a budget, stick with a budget? What would it be? Hopefully you break the mold and you actually talk about timeless financial principles with your kids. But if your kids are anything like my kids, like what I've seen, you can say a lot of things. They'll only retain a small portion of it. And you really just don't know, well, what things will they grab onto and what will just go in one ear and out the other. If I were to answer this question, and I give financial advice for a living, if I were to answer this question, there would just be so many things that make the list. But what's the one thing, one financial advice I would give my kids that they would follow? It would be to save 15% from their very first paycheck into their retirement savings, ideally into their Roth. This was advice that was given to me when I was an intern, actually, at Korhorn Financial Group. It was advice I received, not from my parents, I'll tell you that here in just a minute, but by Kevin Korhorn, the founder of Korhorn Financial Group. Just in working with him and talking about life and talking about finances and advice and clients, I remember him saying very, very clearly, start by saving 15% of your very first paycheck towards retirement and never look back, never change it. And he said this for a couple of different reasons. Number one, to build the habit of saving early. But number two, he knew what I know now, and that is the dollars that you invest early on in life, those are going to be the dollars that likely work the hardest for you. It's either the earliest dollars you contribute or the dollars that you contribute at the worst possible time in your investing experience. Those are the times the dollars work the hardest for you. So he gave me that advice. Guys, I've stuck to it. I've been in my career now 22, almost 23 years, saving 15% and started from my very first paycheck and continue to do that moving forward. Here's why I would pick this one piece of advice to give my kids is not only for those benefits, but it has some other tag-along benefits with it. It emphasizes savings. So instilling that habit early, and then this instance, saving for retirement. But I believe that habit can translate to saving up for known upcoming expenses, saving up for emergencies, saving up for other financial goals as well. It emphasizes starting early, which is the number one financial regret that we hear from people when they get started in a financial planning relationship. It is almost inevitable in the first meeting or in the second, they say, gosh, I wish I would have gotten started sooner. So it emphasizes starting early. It emphasizes living within your means. In a way, I suppose you could contribute 15% from your very first paycheck while also racking up credit card debt. But likely, this is going to force you, or at least it did for me, it forced me to get very, very structured and disciplined with the budget. Because I knew the first dollars, 15%, that's going towards retirement. How am I going to be able to live on what's left? And all the financial priorities tugging at you early on in your career, I focused in on that budget, and this ensured or helped contribute to me living within my means. Saving 15%, especially from your very first paycheck, is going to make sure that you get a company match, get the full company match. I haven't seen a company match that required more than a 15% contribution. Most of them cap out around 8 or 10%. And then it also encourages being proactive with your taxes, tax planning. So the add-on that I said, save 15% towards retirement, ideally in the Roth, get you thinking about, well, should I be contributing pre-tax? Should I be contributing Roth? Even thinking of other strategies like the Roth conversion. So this one financial habit, this one piece of financial advice that I would give has a lot of tag-along benefits as well. So what's one piece of financial advice that you would give your kids? If you knew they were going to follow it, What's one piece of financial advice you would give your kids? Want to see your comments below? Can't wait to read those. Now, this is going to sound cheesy, but I can't talk about the advice I'd give my kids without also sharing the advice that I received. And this I received from my father, and we actually did talk about finances a decent amount in my family growing up. Both of my parents grew up in poverty. I did not. My brother and I did not. And how is it? Were they really fortunate? Did they get amazing jobs, or did they receive an inheritance? My mom was in a car accident that she got, I think, $30,000 for back in the 70s. She almost died. She was in a coma for 2 months, and that's how she was able to go to college. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to go. They didn't have any money for that. My dad worked full time and went to college, the community college, in the evenings over about 7 years. So it wasn't this one time event that allowed me to live in middle class while they grew up in poverty. It was just the right habits. Just the right habits consistently applied, and voila, that's how I am a financial planner, and I'm so passionate about this. So yeah, we talked about finances a decent amount growing up, but I'll tell you the one piece of financial advice that really stands out to me is my dad. When I was a teenager, I don't know if I was 13, 14, it was late enough where we had talks about investing and my curiosity of the stock market, and he said, "You know what, Mike? You need to learn investing and then also know taxes. People will always need your help." And that stuck with me. Guys, this is before I had ever heard of financial planning. This is when stockbrokers were still a thing. This is before the internet. I remember we had a Macintosh computer. And so this was before a lot of things. And certainly it wasn't that was the catalyst that just ignited this path and lit up this path to become a financial planner. But that always resonated with me. And I'm blessed to say that, yeah, on my best days, I try to do that. And I'm on a team of incredible people that really focus on those things, not just investing, but certainly the tax component, looking at all 6 areas of people's financial life and ensuring that those areas are working together and bringing in synergy. So understanding the complexities of taxes and doing tax planning, as well as investing, as well as retirement planning, estate planning, protection planning, and cash flow, present financial position. So what's the one piece of advice that you would give your kids? What's the one piece of advice or the best financial advice you've ever received? Leave that below in comments. For your specific situation, work with your CFP to integrate all 6 areas of your financial life. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us here as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.